Hi, this is Danish Riaz. Today I'll be telling you 7 essential steps required for any design and production house to initiate a campaign for your client. Step number 1, identifying your niche. It is very important for you to know which sort of a client are you dealing with. We as a production house deal with all sorts of clients, whether they are related to consumer goods, whether they are related to fashion, whether they're related to real estate. You have to know your niche basically. If you are a fashion photographer and you do not have an understanding of architecture, then do not try and jump in for that client because eventually it will be an epic fail. Step number 2, research your client. Now, before going to any meeting or your first meeting, if this is your first meeting with a client and you haven't worked with them before, you have to do a complete research history of their background, where they started from, what they've been doing, how their campaigns have evolved and changed with time, where they're standing in the market at the current moment. This homework is very, very important. So your client's history should be right in front of you before you're talking to them. Step number 3, research your client's competitor market. It is very important for you to know that what your client's competition is doing, how they are ahead of them or how they are behind them, what they're doing is working out, what it is not working out on a local or international level. This research is very vast and it is very important for you to know before you go to the meeting. Step number 4, the first meeting. If it is a new client, it is very important that you send your profile before you go, so the client should know the kind of services that you're providing, which basically saves a lot of time in introducing each other. So you both know where you're standing. You've done your homework and they've done their homework on you. A company consists of many departments. It can be digital, it can be strategy development, it can be marketing, it can be designing, different things. So all these departments are interlinked and you both should know about each other before the meeting starts. Step number 5, listen to your client. You've already done your research. Let the client now comfortably tell you about where their company is standing, what their brand image is, what their identity is. They'll give you an entire brief of what their company stands for if they've been working for a long time. Step number 6, be flexible. It doesn't mean that you are at the meeting that you try to grab the entire campaign. It's not necessary that they'll be offering you an entire campaign. That might be a case sometimes, but not always. Sometimes they'll be asking you just for photography, sometimes they can be asking you for art direction, sometimes they can be asking you for content writing, etc., whatever. Try and make a space in between them where you're both comfortable with each other. Step number 7, budgeting techniques. There are 2 types of clients. The first client has had work done previously on regular basis from the market. They have allocated budgets. Ask them to give you an allocated budget. If they're not able to do that, then walk away from the client. Because you would like to work with professionals and all the professional companies know their budgets. The second type of client is a new client in the market. They have not had campaigns done before. They'll be relying upon you to give them guidelines and budgets. Now, this is the kind of client you have to give a guidance and a budget to. Be reasonable with the prices that you're giving. They should not be out of the market. Because if you want to sustain a long-term client, do not try to over budget anything or you will suffer in the long run. Do not try to overprice the client or to be greedy because you will lose the client in the long run. For any business be successful, you need long-term clients. In conclusion, if you've reached to this point where the client has asked you to pitch in for a mood board for the next campaign, remember that your first impression is very important. This first meeting or these first 7 steps will be essential to bring you to this point. Your company has been given an opportunity to pitch in for the campaign. Other companies will also be pitching in at the same time for the upcoming campaign. In our next video, we'll be discussing on how to work on your pitch. Follow us by subscribing to our channel so you don't miss out on our next video. Thank you.